Hello everyone, it's Gromit&ThomasFan01 here, and welcome to my cracking video. Aardman have made many successful, critically acclaimed films over the years, but have never really made sequels to their existing films. But that all changed, however, with a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, which was a sequel to the first Shaun the Sheep movie and was directed by Will Beecher and Richard Phelan. With the new Shaun the Sheep film that has been released recently on DVD after its cinema run in the UK, and also with Chicken Run 2 in the works at the studio, it raises a question. Can other Aardman featured films get sequels? Of course, we have seen many other animation companies, like Pixar or DreamWorks, make follow-ups to their movies. But keep in mind, before Farmageddon was released, Aardman have never made sequels to their films before. Most of them have been original ideas based on film genres, with new characters and worlds, as well as two of their famous franchises star in their own feature-length productions. So Aardman are pretty new at making sequels. If you look at the film industry nowadays, so many films are being made into a movie brand now. So is it a wise move for Aardman to step into the world of sequels? Well, there are many sides to this topic. One, of course, is the story. I know you're probably thinking, are you crazy, Gromit&ThomasFan01? Of course the story is really important for any film series. Why is it so important for a sequel? Well, the reason why it is important is that when you make a follow-up to any film, the story needs to be even more breathtaking and groundbreaking than the first film. It's about taking the characters to new worlds, adventures, and scenarios that you wouldn't have explored in the first film, while making the characters remain the characters we have grown to love since they were first introduced. But it also means that you need to take a different direction to the plot, whether it's an important message in the film or just the humour and the story in general. It gives the movie a more grander feeling and will make audiences want to see more of these on the big screen. Which brings us onto another topic that is important, and that is the film has to be visually grander. Now, giving the movie a bigger scale in terms of locations and how it is visually portrayed is important, of course. But when making another film based on an original, it is even more important to make the next film bigger and better than before, because you want your characters to go on an even epic adventure than the first film. Now, Aardman are brilliant at pushing the boundaries in their productions anyway, and have proved that even more with the second Shaun movie. But of course, as I said, since Farmageddon has been out for a little while now, and that Chicken Run 2 is in pre-production as we speak, every Aardman fan, as well as everyone who loves these movies, are of course wondering, can other Aardman films get sequels? Well, if the story is right for the motion picture, then of course it should be made. But it would need careful planning and a lot of research on why the first film was so great. For example, I would love to see an Early Man sequel, but Aardman would have to make an even more groundbreaking story than the first Early Man film. I do adore Early Man, as for me, it is one of my favourites. But I feel if they do make an Early Man sequel, they would need to make it better than the first one, definitely. Because although I love the film, there is not enough in the story, as the plot feels too simple. So they should look at a new idea and keep the prehistoric look if they ever made another Early Man movie. But it's not just Early Man that should have another film. I also feel there should be another Wallace and Gromit feature film, or another Shaun the Sheep movie as well. It makes sense to make more feature-length films with these characters, as everyone is so familiar with them, and they have had shorts and a TV series dedicated to both brands. It would also be nice to see another Flushed Away or After Christmas film, but the trouble is that even though they are Aardman films, the animation on these movies was made in different animation companies, which were DreamWorks Animation and Sony Pictures Animation. Even though Aardman have a CGI animation department in their studio, the trouble is that they only specialise in making adverts in CGI, and Aardman's features studio specialise in stop motion. so it does seem unlikely we would see a sequel to Flushed Away, or After Christmas for that matter. However, their stop-motion feature films could easily have a follow-up dedicated to them. Because they mainly use stop-motion in their movies, it is easier to make a second movie based on one of their originals, like Aardman or The Pirates. A fun little fact is that Aardman were planning to do a sequel based on The Pirates, but since it didn't do well at the box office, the idea for a sequel for The Pirates was sadly scrapped. And that is the common problem in making sequels, and that is of course the box office income. Because if you raise more than your budget, it is easier to do a sequel. But since Aardman movies, Leica movies, and even stop-motion movies in general keep flopping at the box office, it's becoming even harder to make films because of the box office income, even though they have other company partners to fund these projects. But whatever Aardman's next film is, whether it's a sequel or an original, the chances are that everyone will be watching more of these films for years to come. I'm Gromit&ThomasFan01, and I hope you enjoyed the video.